Like we couldn't get enough of him, we're still talking about Colin Kaepernick. For some reason, that guy is still in tweets from the biggest stars in the NFL. You got the blue checkmark lib brigade in sports media. It's talking about Colin Kaepernick. They're trying to pretend like he's doing something unbelievably progressive and great for society. And for some reason, after calling owners, like slave owners, that the NFL Combine is like the slave trade, he wants to be a slave again. Colin Kaepernick jumped on the I Am Athlete podcast with Brandon Marshall and Chad Ochocinco, saying, I think I pretty much align with the NFL and their owners and their messaging, and I think I should get a shot. If I need to be a backup, that's fine. I'll do it. This guy doesn't want to be a backup. This guy wants to continue to make tens of millions of dollars racially dividing us. Please do not forget about the original reason that Colin Kaepernick kneeled. That was from a December 2015 shooting where a guy pulled an 8-inch knife on cops after a stabbing, did not listen to cops' 5 pleas that included beanbag rounds, pepper spray, and verbal comments to say, stop. That's the reason he kneeled, for a guy that was armed and not innocent. He's racially divided us and signed big deals with Netflix, Nike, and teamed up with some of the biggest race baiters in the entire country. These aren't just race baiters, these are just plain racists. Colin Kaepernick feels entitled. Colin Kaepernick feels like he deserves a shot. He mentions here too, I know we're going to show you some of these videos, but he mentions, I think I deserve a shot in the NFL. And if I'm not good enough, get rid of me. You haven't been in the NFL for 6 years, Colin Kaepernick, and there's a reason for that. You're bad for business, and you're bad on the field. BlaineGabbert took your job. I don't know how many times we need to bring that up. BlaineGabbert is still in the NFL, and you're not, for a reason. Because he's a team player. People enjoy having someone like BlaineGabbert on the team, and Tom Brady's going to have BlaineGabbert as his backup because it's good for the team. Colin Kaepernick is bad for society. He's bad for the NFL. And for some reason, he thinks that people that he's called the worst of the worst, nobody wants to be called a racist. And if you're called a racist and you feel like you were basically a slave, why are you running back to your slave owner? Doesn't seem to make sense to me. That's why I feel like this is all just PR nonsense. It's just Colin Kaepernick trying to get the limelight again. And sure, Colin, you had a nice little run. And then in the Hard Bowl, somebody decided to flip a switch and turn out the lights, and the Ravens took over in the second half of that Super Bowl. Just relish in that. But I hope to God someone just speaks truth into Colin Kaepernick's life. Just tell him, give it up. But if you don't want to give it up, there's other options. You can jump in the USFL. You can give it a shot there. You can look at the path that other quarterbacks have taken to try to get back into the NFL. But no. He thinks the only way for us to bridge this racial divide is by giving him a shot that he's entitled to. Oh, I made it to a Super Bowl once. I deserve to get a shot. No. You had a shot. You set up workouts years ago with teams, and you decided to change the location last minute because you just didn't like it. This is all PR nonsense. Colin Kaepernick is just going to disappear in a few months, and we're actually going to be able to celebrate real quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that are actually doing something good in society, good for their teams, and good for their family. We don't need a guy that says that we need to abolish the police. Not just defund them. He wants to abolish the police. He's called the police white supremacists, completely disregarding police that are other colors than white. That San Francisco shooting I brought up, not all those policemen were white. But he wants you to think that we have not made any progress in society. Oh, we are just as bad as the Jim Crow era. No. The fact that this guy has an opportunity to speak on a podcast, call people racist, and still have a job and still make tens of millions of dollars Shows how upside down our world is, but also shows how free our society is. He has the freedom to say this stuff. Colin Kaepernick is no Jackie Robinson. Colin Kaepernick is not some sort of trailblazer. He's not someone that's breaking barriers in a positive way. Colin Kaepernick will not be on an NFL team. Colin Kaepernick will not be on an NFL sideline holding a clipboard. Colin Kaepernick will continue to cash his checks, jump on podcasts, racially divide us, and look for the limelight because he's selfish, entitled, and full of more crap than a porta potty. Colin Kaepernick, you don't deserve it. Colin Kaepernick, you're done. Colin Kaepernick, give it up. Colin Kaepernick, thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so good. You like what you just saw and you want more non-woke sports talk and conversation? Of course you do. Make sure you head over to the Breakaway YouTube channel, subscribe, also hit the like button. We give you all that sports news without the nonsense. That's what you're looking for. We're also on Instagram at TPUSA Breakaway. Appreciate y'all. Go Sports.